This is your daily market recap for Thursday, January 19th, 2023. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your daily market recap for Thursday, January 19th, 2023. Hopefully you're having a great day. Please check out the live video we did earlier today. Again, set your alerts, telling you subscribe. Appreciate hitting the like button. We do lives 2 or 3 times a week. Pretty useful. I think a lot of people took advantage of the weakness, took some profits as we talked about, added some shorts, trading around their positions, and are absolutely doing the best they can with the knowledge they are being shared. So at this point, if you are confused of what's going on in the market, please stick around. I promise you we will give you some great insights with the highest probabilities and also setups, because at this point going forward, we hit some of our downside targets. We expect some pops, we expect some flops, we expect some chop. Keep in mind the evidence is changing, hence why your opinions and your ability to pivot must be always there. Essentially, you have to be aware that the market is playing games and there's nothing safe. And when I say nothing safe, essentially, as soon as you feel comfortable, as a lot of traders have felt like, so it has to, the world's over, it rallies. Everything seems great, it pulls back. That's what the market does. It takes the most amount of money from the most amount of people. And on that note, let's get into it. So, I apologize if you've been in the Discord room for a while. I am just purging this thing. I'm trying to get it, trying to get it down to all blue folks. If you are involved and you're a yellow and you want to be a blue, please be more involved. Or, again, explain to me why you're interested in being more involved and how you can be. Because again, this room is ultimately going to whittle down to probably 90% of the traders in here will fail and be gone. I'm trying to get the people who are most involved, really looking to learn, to be assets for everybody here. Because again, your biggest weakness, my biggest weakness, is what you can't see and don't know. And if other people are helping out and sharing, that is immensely useful. Again, 2 eyeballs, good. 20, 30, 40 eyeballs, even better. All right. Hit me up if you have any interest. And if you don't, great. Hit me up on Twitter, too. That's where, again, we're posting constantly what we're up to. This is probably the best area or best platform to find updates constantly of what we're doing, trying to stay on top of it, keep people informed. At this point, I would say we've done our best. It's been a lot of work. So I would ask if you're following. Again, I appreciate the likes, retweets, ideas, because again, the channel is only going to show up for people who are really looking. I think I've been shadow banned on multiple platforms for years, so perfect. We'll never be mainstream. If you're newer, back to basics. You got to do it. You got to plow through all this stuff. If you really love trading, committed, telling you the market is a constant chaos pattern of repeating tendencies, time tendencies, news tendencies, seasonality tendencies, earnings seasonality, all sorts of fun stuff. If you don't know and you just think the market is complete randomness within chaos, well, then you shouldn't be trading because there's no edge to be developed. So I hope that helps. All right, let's get into it. The Bitcoin can't get over 21,000. I really don't have an opinion. At this point, high and tight is good for bulls, but if it starts leaking and the diaper starts leaking, be careful. This thing has been in a downtrend, confirmed. Do you have like this weird W pattern? Yeah, sure. Call it what you want. But the truth is, like every other asset that goes bonkers and pulls back, it might just need time and a price correction. You had to, 2017 to 2020, it went nowhere. Could we be in the same holding pattern? I don't know. Because if you don't know, and Siri, come on, stop it. The thing that is ultimately very difficult. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry too. Stop talking. Is that you just don't know. If the momentum's lost and everybody who's stuck from above is looking to sell on pops. And that's the thing, once momentum's lost, it's your best friend when it's in your favor, and it's absolute carnage when it's not.
Oil, we talked about it, kind of getting tired up here, expecting a pullback. I mean, it kind of looks like it's an M. We'll see. I mean, that wick yesterday's action looked bearish, but today's action, kind of what I would consider, I don't know, kind of makes it mute point. We'll need more information. Again, that's the thing about trading. Not every day, hour, minute, whatever candle you're looking at confirms things. As they say, one day, one candle doesn't make a trend. Here we go, chopping around. Be careful, all right? Be absolutely careful. Again, I think we could get up into the mid-80s, but I would love to see this just pull back at some point, especially if the market's going to pull back. Now, if not, and this thing starts ripping, maybe the market gets nervous, because here's the problem with inflation. Here's your inflation guide. If oil starts ripping, adios to rate hikes or rate cuts and easy money and the market being comfortable, because the market ain't going to like that. Natural gas, broken record. I thought it would hold here again, but when I've just been burned so many times by something, I'd rather just give up on it for a little bit. And I talked about a January 20 date being potentially a bottom, if there was going to be one. Maybe it's not till February. I mean, the seasonality of this stuff. I mean, also keep in mind, like, it's a byproduct of gas and oil, of oil, potentially at times natural gas, depending on how it's whatever refined. It also doesn't store well. It's always been an issue with natural gas, right? I just think you move on.org when you're wrong on something, and you just, again, it just doesn't seem right. It should be rising. It's not. So when it's not, just be careful. I don't know. I mean, I've said for weeks, like, I'll wait till everyone to give up on it. I still get every day, hey, I think natural gas is a buy here. Look at it. And it's like, just because it's down, okay. And then guess what? Keeps going lower. Scary. Scary, scary, scary. Dollar. Talk to me an outside reversal candle. All right, today, doji. All right, well, need more information. That looks bullish, but we need to start moving up. If you watch previous recaps, this is a big trend line. We're slightly below it. Not the end of the world. Need to see what happens here. Absolutely need to see it rally. Because if it doesn't rally, I mean, could the market go higher? Your guess is as good as mine, mo frere. I personally think that at some point the dollar is bottoming out soon and the market's going to rise and the VIX is going to, I mean, again, we'll get into it. So that might be bearish for the market. Dollar rise. Remember, big moves are the key with the dollar. If it stabilizes, no one cares. TLT, bonds, 200-day. Is the market going to dump and TLT rip? Or bonds going to get dumped and the market's going to dump? Again, I'm at this point where this inflection area, I mean, it seems pretty distributed to me, but we'll see. I mean, you need to see it with confirming. Because you don't know if it's distribution or accumulation without a doubt until it goes. Now, again, that's where probability-based trading, like if you wanted to short the TLT, all right, it kind of makes sense. But we'll see what happens. I personally just am watching it. Just watching. The VIX. We talked about this yesterday. This test was an absolute gift because this was the first bottom. Well, today's action pops. Not surprised it came back some. I mean, this is the thing about the markets that we talk about. Trade around it. The VIX was due to bounce. We've said every time you've gotten to the 18 level, man, and the last time was literally last spring. I mean, it's rallied. I mean, even down to the 20. I mean, we're still in a bear market. No bear market ends without at least a pop into the 40s or 50s in the VIX. So do the math. Mid-30s ain't it. So at some point you will have smash. Like the bear market ain't over. SPY, congratulations. We talked about it hitting the trend line, getting close to 618, trapping over the 200-day like it's done. And here you go. Now today's action and decision. Okay. I mean, again, I don't mind that because here's the thing. The larger you stretch without a little bit of indecision along the way, lets you you can't trade it as effectively, right? Because if it just goes in a straight line, like there's no opportunities to add or trade around it. And B, that's part of a trend sometimes, right? Like that's kind of what you want to see at times. And personally, I do because that's how you leverage a trend. If you go in a straight line move, remember, the more you're up, the less you own. Well, then the reverberation can be bigger, right? Like, I don't mind. Remember, think about it from, like, the process of, like, working both sides here, right? Bears jumped in the morning. Bulls, where were they? Bulls bought the open, bears shorted the next move, and then boom, they both got shredded and it closed flat. It's kind of what you want to see. So now what? Now that we're into our, what I'd consider, I don't know. I mean, I posted this all day on, is it on this chart? I have multiple charts of intraday time frames. Let's see if it's, nope, not this one. I apologize. This guy. We talked about this range. I mean, I said it on the daily. Approximately like 385 to 390. Well, here you go. Check it out on the hourly. Check it out. Resistance equals support. And it hits the fib too. Bounces. Okay. How big? Whatever. I mean, talk about 394, 393. All this could come rolling down. Doesn't look that... Again, I'm not scared of a bounce. I'd prefer it to short more. Because I know this move doesn't sustain. It's like that move doesn't sustain. And that move had a pullback. And then you went into chop. Well, the market's in a tradey kind of indecisive mode back and forth. QQQs. All right. Congratulations, Netflix. Your EPS was absolute dog crap. It's cool you're adding subscribers. Oh, interesting reaction. We'll see. The Qs in general, we talked about getting up into this range. Clears the 100-day. Same thing. Kind of pulls back. This is the thing about the Qs. People got to realize, like I said, tech is just going to continue to lag. Like, if it just is in this little chop cycle and that was the peak, oh, boy. Oh, boy. I mean, some of these stocks are still trading at multi-double-digit PEs. And their growth rates are negative. Dangerous. IWIZL. Today's action confirms for me more that we should, and will be bearish. I mean, look, you hit the range highs. Long wick outside reversal. Engulfs down. Gaps down today. Okay, cool. Holds the 200-day. Perfect. Perfect. I have no problem with it chopping in between. Just as long as we have the confirmation signal. Because I think a lot of people remember, and again, here's me admitting fault. I saw this, but I was like, maybe it's not going to go much lower. And I was like, brrr. I mean, you still had from 390 down to 374. That's a pretty good move. So to me, when I look at the IWM, I say, buy WM. Maybe it's coming back down, the 170. I mean, that's a good thing. And if it fills this gap and chops, you know what to do. Oh, let's talk about DIA real quick. Talked about this lagging. You know, this has been leading. Remember, this got up over the August highs in December. It looked great. Now you retest. Uh-oh. Retro raggy. Not bullish. Again, things that aren't bearish or bullish. Like, remember how we talk about like things that are bullish, things that are bearish? Well, here you go. More evidence of bearishness, but don't chase. Gold. You dirty dog. Again, we stopped out during the recap around 179, I think 50, 40, something like that. Whatever. Still got some like lotto puts that are so cheap. The masses love gold now. We'll see what happens here. We're filling this gap. We're in the zone, auto zone. Here's the gap. Volume at price node. Do Hasme. No, I mean, I'll admit if I'm wrong here. Shorting has not worked here. Is the trade over? Is it leave it alone, going to 2,500, 3,000, 10,000? No. The Feds haven't cut yet. We're not in the Fed cutting rates game. They're still raising. Silver. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Holding the sneaky, sneaky 0.618. Lagging, though. Not making new highs. GDX. All right. Comes back a little bit. But that looks like the pivot point. Does it not? That's my guess. We'll see what happens. GDXJ. Check this out, right? Same kind of thing. Makes a lower low, lower high, lower low. Inside candle day. Need more information. Because this doesn't tell you anything. I mean, you could say bullish, bearish, whatever, but the true reality is you didn't make a higher high or lower low. So it's called an inside candle. When you see inside candles, what do? You got to wait for the next day. Does this make sense? Here was like an inside candle, nothing, and then the next day showed you, right? So I'm just trying to find some inside candles for folks. Inside candle, wait for the next day, boom, right? Inside candle, makes sense. Inside the candle, right? Doesn't really tell you anything. There's no consistency of the trend yet. All right, keep it simple, stupid. AG. This thing, how is this thing still red? I mean, silver's on fire, and this thing looks like, ugh, good God. Oh, is this start of man? I've said this for 1,000, not 1,000 years. You're old, Dan. No, I've been saying this in my head 1,000 times today. Like, there's no way that silver is going to just get cooked and gold gonna rip here, in my opinion. Well, AG should be like should be flying to the moon. No, it's like cratering. Doesn't look right. AM. Choppy, toppy, sloppy. Keep an eye on it. Need more information. Newmont. You dirty dog. Makes a new low, rallies back, but it doesn't really get you anywhere, does it? Just gets you right back to yesterday's and that range, right? You can see it over here. What's your guess? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I still think it's a short. I mean, I honestly think it's an absolute short, but what stops, right? Like, we're not sitting here. I mean, Newmont is a piece of crap. They have so many, their legacy costs, they're just not well run. Moving on. Again, good luck. I mean, I hope I've got dust. Talked about buying it in the mid to low 11s. Sold a little bit this morning. I guess not a little bit, like half, just to put money around, like kind of just, again, get comfortable. Because here's the problem with when I'm short gold, stock, and dust, it's not working. And the dust was paying. I just, in my mind, and again, this is just me psychologically trading gold being burned. So I'm like, I'll just take some off. Because again, the market was down. I expected some sort of rally at some point. We got it. But how sustained? Now I'll look for more dust. Probably should have bought it. You know, the realization is now is that I probably should have shorted more this afternoon. Whatever. That's me. That's the reality. AMD, man, semis just don't look good. Again, anyone who's like, again, if you shorted the semis and got Soxus, look at this stuff. That doesn't look good. You hit a resistance and gap down. AMD. NVIDIA. You get back up towards, the range highs, the fibs. That's not good. Now, again, could it be this? I mean, you pray it is if you're a bull. But at this point, it looks like a lower high. This thing has been absolutely smashed, which doesn't make sense. But when you go from 110 up to 188, you do the math. Is this stock really... Does it really deserve that? I don't think so, Tim. I don't think so. Taiwan Semi. My man following on Twitter. Why can't I remember his name? I guess it's just a long day. Either way, I am excited that you got your emotions put, like, kind of just what I would say is put in check today. You were pretty frustrated about it acting up today. Look at the close. Telling you, we're at a resistance point. Like, this is the easy resistance. Right? I mean, ideally, would love to have, it failed right here from this day on the earnings. But is this a bull? You got to beware. Like, this could be a monster bull trap, right? Because you rally on earnings that market makers are distributing, and then they rally it higher with the market, and then it's like, pull the rug. They got out. They fed it all to the losers. I mean, losers meaning people are going to lose. SMH, same thing. You hit back the rally high, you gap down. Spaghetti-O. Is it gap down and chop? Or is it gap down to flop? Either way, odds are in your favor. It's going to drop, but take profits along the way. For the love of God. Apple, I should probably go to Adobe. Let's keep the order. Choppy. Wow, awesome. Tech, it's really fun. Apple hits back test this like trend line, this VAP zone, and again, this goes in the Wayback Machine. I guess it doesn't have a ton of VAP until. I mean, you're entering the terror zone. I can't remember why. There you go. I was like, dude, there's muscle memory here. Thank you. Okay. Sometimes you just got to zoom out, y'all. 50-day. All right, we'll see what happens. Earnings coming up, but this thing has been dog do. So keep an eye on it because I think if the market starts to leak the diaper, it might drop. Amazon.com. We talked about buying it here, taking some trades up. Nice little trade. Didn't make a ton of money, but now up here, it just doesn't look right. Chat GPT, yeah, they're gonna hold all their servers. Yeah, no, I mean, wait for some pullbacks. Earnings are coming. Be careful. Don't try to predict. It's like Netflix. I mean, we'll get there in 2 seconds. Like, their earnings were crap, but look at the reaction. Will it hold? CRM, talked about the 100-day, maybe the channel high at some point. Yeah, a lot of the stuff, just leave it alone. Goog, I know a lot of people wanted to short this today. It's like, watch the box. It's getting a little tricky. Keep an eye on it. Shorted Meta today after I unloaded some gold. Was like, how can I not? I mean, this is the next zone of importance. And if Netflix flopped, then it was going to flop. Well, at this point, after hours, Meta is basically in where we got in at 137 and change. Just watch this area. Not all in, but makes sense to me. Meta's, again, do the math, y'all. Again, it's cheap. No. The stock has gotten burned. It rallied, which makes sense. 60-70%. But their growth rate's done. They're cooked. They're a single-digit growth rate company. Ain't nobody going to Meta. Their marketing or their ad spend, whatever. It does, again, at this point, it doesn't even matter. It's just like dead money. It's kind of like laughing about Microsoft after it peaked in 2000 when everyone's like, oh, but people are still going to use Excel and Word. And it was like, yeah, and the stock went nowhere for a while. Meta has not reinvented themselves. I know that people are talking about Oculus and getting on online, or they're getting into the cloud, virtual stuff. But okay, you don't think that's going to be competitive? I don't know. My guess is it is going to be extremely competitive, and they're not going to win. People trust Zuckerberg. People trust Facebook, who's been scrubbing news for what seems like years. No. I would not want to go in there. I feel like I might die. Like they might scramble my brain if I'm in that. Microsoft, yeah, hits this and fails. Really missed that short, but okay, rallies back. Man, it's a lot of convergence. I don't know. NDAQ, hey! Somebody hit me up yesterday and said, hey, short it here at the 50-day. I didn't take it, but hell yeah for them. Look at this. Now you're back at the old trend line. Today's action does not confirm more bullishness. It's hard to be bullish. It's hard to be bull when you see this. If you guys like my accents, hit me up with a like. I appreciate it. Try to switch it up. Yeah. Look at that. Gap down. Diaper. MicroStrategy. Let's get. I'm like ready to get to Netflix. Like, yeah. Netflix. Yeah. Look at this. I mean, we talked about the bottom here. You could buy that. Look, that's a hell of a run. That candle yesterday doesn't look very appealing to me. If it comes back up, shoot it down. I mean, take a shot at it. Netflix. It's so funny. Note to self. This thing flopped at the close and then rallied after hours. What a classic market maker trap. Everyone found out about the numbers. They dumped it, and then it rallies back. Now we're back at 335 after hours. You smell that? You smell that? That smells like the upside target zone needs to be shorted. Again, be careful buying puts post earnings. IV's high. Maybe take some stock. Maybe you don't have a ton. Maybe you don't have $33,000 for 100 shares. We'll do a couple shares. Maybe sell a call. It depends on what your account balance can do. But here, I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. No-brainer. People back to even, get the hell out. That's how I look at it. Someone say, oh, it's a cup and handle. It's going higher. Okay, well, I guess you believe the market's ripping. Roblox. Classic example of why you take profits the more you're up. Rallies on their guidance, gets a big downgrade today, comes right back to where we sold essentially. Congrats on if you ran it up. If you didn't and you just bought and hold, I tell you this all the time. Profits are like grabbing sand. It just slips out of your hand the tighter you grip it. So if you don't take any profits and put it in the bucket and let it out of your hand into the bucket, there's no guarantee you get that profit sand. That sand profit, dog. Yeah, I mean, someone's like, oh, you buy it here? I'm like, I guess if you want to. I mean, you can. Tesla, you're welcome. I mean, again, this thing is probably going to be in the house of pain. Feels like it's setting this up. And then maybe it just dumps. I don't know. Retail loves it. That's not how you bottom. You don't bottom when everyone loves a stock. Now, again, we talked about trading it. But long-term bottom, get out of here. Forget about it. Probably not. Now, again, there's probably some of my favorite haters who are following going, I bought Tesla. I'm all in for the long run. It's going to 200. All right, well. I mean, I'd be willing to bet it goes to sub 100 before it gets to 200. We'll see. I could be wrong. Trade around it. Please, don't get too excited. They've got issues out the wazoo. Okay, material names. Talking about starting to weaken. Okay, when you get up here and make a new high, 50% fib, backs off. Not that pretty. New core. Man, I thought this would be up 2 or 3 points. Look at it. It gets over the range highs, comes back. Holds the 8th day. Watch it. VALE. High and tight. That's chop. Again, looks tired. All these things might be looking to roll. And when I say roll over. Roll over, pup. Euro. Man, I wish I would have bought this at 8. There's my alarm. Tears. Have no tears for me. Here we're coming up into resistance. We'll see what happens here. Again, this could be distributive versus accumulative. Be aware. CCJ, someone's talking about shorting at 25. Again, no, this stock doesn't interest me at all. I just let it dump, and then I'll have feelings. CF. Again, I have a dirty little secret. My alarm's here, hoping it gets back down to 79.80, maybe even crashes below it just temporarily enough to fill the gap. Da-da-da-da-da. I'd be loving it. Let me edit it. I was like, why have I not drawn that gap? I mean, I've known it's there for eons. That would be tight. No trade on it. Let it go. We took the profits, put them in pocket, moving on. Mosaic, here you go. I liked, right? We talked about buying down here. Heck yeah, we talked about taking the profitos. All right, you're out. The trade's over. It's just gotten choppy. MoveOn.org. NTR. Nutrien. Agrium. All of the good old ag names. I think Potash is on POT. When they dropped in this? Whatever. Again, hits some fibbies, hits some resistance. Pulling back. MoveOn.org. AA. Here's another classic example of a hip-hop battle. Oh, sorry, I'm repeating lyrics. No, classic example of profits being what? Not real until realized. Look at this. They're guided today, and again, their guidance, whatever. The market reacted this way. Things that aren't bullish, right? Hits our upside target. Now, again, how many people have been following from the beginning? We talked about buying. What about selling? Buying that day, selling. Okay, went higher. And if you held on, shame on you. Throw a tip to your boy because that was a great trade. Now again, I'm not saying it can't go higher in time, but come on back, you hear? Let this thing just pull back. Let this thing do what it does. Let it come. I mean, pray for 35. Pray for 41. Again, pray for weakness. I like this. Again, tip your boy. That was a good one. Again, I'm not always great. I'm spectacular. And so you should be thankful. No, I'm just kidding. No, realization is that, again, I mean, I appreciate the love and the insights. And we try to, again, we're always trying to pivot, try to find the best trades. For example, XLF. XFL, what? No. Shorting, FAS. The Fastine. We'll talk about it here in a second. I mean, we talked about like JP Morgan and the inside day and the market looking tired, and then this gap, and it's like, hello. All right. Hopefully you took a little bit of profitos. Any strength, look for it. And again, the FAS, I mean, this is what I always tell people, like, minimize your losses, and then when you hit a freaking home run, you're gonna get paid. Look at that. I mean, we shorted in the mid 80s, down 10 points real quick. Not bad. And again, the puts were cheap. Cheap. Short, easy. Remember, levered ETFs. 3 times bullish. Yes, let it come on back. That's awesome. JP Morgan. George on Twitter was like, oh, it's about to dump. I'm like, no, watch what happens when it retests these lows. Okay. Because again, remember, look at this. That's a big damn candle. Now it pulls back. Do you think you might find some stupid buyers down here? Minimally? Yeah. Morgan Stanley, here you go. Talked about catching up. If you shorted at, again, I give out the levels. It's whether people act. We talked about this being a potential novice gap, trend high. Oh, ho, 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 ho. If you shorted Morgan Stanley, sorry, I just jizzed in my pants. No, that's a great trade. And it probably gets better. It's just, it might not go down in a straight line. Congratulations. Where's our good friend Goldman Sachs? Because you, Mr. Slacks, gave us confidence in the shorting. Because this is not a good reaction. Now I know people are like, oh, it's green the last 2 days. Well come on. It drops what does it drop? 10% in like 2 days, and of course they might find some buyers. Like Wells Fargo, I love just kind of browsing through these. Like, yeah, gap's down today. Okay, we'll see what happens. XBI, where are you, my friend? Down another dollar. Talked about hitting the range highs. It's like Adam Sandberg, right? Just in your pants. You see that and you go, okay. And if you shorted it, I'm feel good for you. Probably can't say that on YouTube, but YouTube, it's a joke. It's referencing to a joke. Please don't get mad, algorithm. I'm literally not doing that right now. Anyway, so at this point, yeah, it looks like 84s, whatever. Trade around your position. Awesome trade. If you bought Lab D or whatever, what was that? What did it get down to, like 12 or 13? 13s. Sweet trade. And is it over? I don't know. I just personally don't like to short the baby bios at this point because they can go sloppy choppy. Because look at this chart, right? Like, if you got the highs, great. But man, this has just been slam or chop. Absolute chop central. Hopefully it gets back down to the range lows minimum. Just in my pants. All right, sorry. That video is so hilarious. Walking to the club. Da, 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 da. All right, solar. Speaking of, oh my gosh. Here you go. Hits resistance. Kabang. Gap down and go. Now, tomorrow could be a doge. Little indecision, right? Like, where it is ChopX. Like, they probably aren't going to just pay us, but I think it's over, y'all. Again, no one's buying solar. You can't afford it. Who then leasing one? Like, trading one payment in for another payment? Silly. Silly. ENPH. All right, people are saying this is the bottom. Psych. We told you it might rally to the 200-day and then might be done. Retesting. Look, wow, that was fast. Probably should have shorted that one, but well, you know, what do you do? I mean, watch for this gap fill. It's pretty. Thing of beauty. Sedgerton. Here we go. Lower high. Goodbye. For solar, if you shorted this in the 180s plus, even the upper 170s, payday. Took some profits today, naturally. We'll see. I mean, I've said right, and again, if you're not paying attention, pay attention now. Take an eye on it. If you hit the 160s, see what happens. I would not be surprised if it give it all back at some point sooner than later, because other names look like crap. Maybe they rally and this one gets smoked. Either way, trade around your positions for the love of God. But I think we gotta, you know, you think about like a fishing reference. I think we got a whale on the freaking line. Because this is like I'm gonna have to do a rant here. Perfect technical analysis. You know, rubber band man theory. The big move pulls back. Slightly bigger move pulls back more. Last move barely makes a new breath. Kind of like here before pulling back, like just a fake out. Kapow. Kelly Kapowski. If you know that reference. Kapow. Oob doggy. Talk about all the 17 upgrades in the last 5 days. Well, that's like the ultimate buddy pass. So keep this on the radar. Watch TAN. Watch the other names. Because again, it could just kind of turn into a reverse or a slaughter of individual names around. Congratulations. You don't need to hit 1,000. Again, you don't have to swing at 100 pitches, but when you find the best ones and you can hit a grand salami for the quarter, month, year, pay yourself, do what is right. Oil. You know what? Sabaline said, hey, I think it's bottoming. You know what? You were right. Hit the reference. Didn't really watch today. Channeled. Again, bottom. I don't know. Just a bottom. Intraday bottom. Spot on. Like they give credit where it's due. I love when people help out. Again, I love it. The more eyes, the better. Inside day. Can't really say much, right? Not UNG. UNG in my family is a no-no. If you say UNG in my house, I will show you the door. No, I'm just kidding. Ouch. House of Pain. You know, like the Jim Cramer board. House of Pain. Sell. I'm sorry, I have to make myself laugh. Doing these every day, it's like pretty damn boring. But asking, when no one asks, I'll tell you. XOP. All right. Choppy. Opens low, closes high-ish. Over the 200-day. I mean, now you've got a little bit of a range to watch out for. We'll see what happens. Oil should rally at some point to smoke out the feds, put them in the pickle. But is that later in the year? That's my guess, potentially. We'll see. You do you, boo. Exxon Mobil holds the 20, 50-day cross. Again, Exxon is not... Could this be the lower high fail? Absolutely. But at this point, today's action, need more information, right? PX Dizzle up 5 points. Congratulations. But opened low, rallied back. I mean, not technically an outside reversal because you would need to get over 245, but outside reversal-ish. Occidental Petroleum. Okay, up 2%. This is what I was hoping to see, but of making higher highs, like with this candle, not so much. It just looks like a big choppy, sloppy range. EQT. Trash. Just leave this thing alone. All right. All I can really say at this point going forward is that if you are involved in the Discord room, I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone who's following, retweeting, sharing. Because again, I don't think we'll ever be mainstream. And if we do, I'll lock this thing up and disappear for all the followers and Discord room. Because again, when you develop your edge and you start playing big boy money, then you become a target. None of us are. Imagine the complete market cap of everybody who's in the Discord room and myself is yet a fart in the wind compared to what the market cares about. And so at this rate, let's continue to grow together. Be smart, be thoughtful, learn from your mistakes, learn from your mistakes, learn from your mistakes. Ask questions, but I'm telling you, do the work. Don't show up at 9:30 a.m. and ask a question that you're confused. Like, if you have an issue, the off hours are the time to refine your skills, right? It's no different than any athlete in any sport, in any game, or anything. You don't practice during the game. You make the practice harder in the game, so the game's easy, unless you're Allen Iverson. Practice? Right? Practice? No, I mean, that's the reality. So I'm here to help, but I also want people who want to help themselves, because the easy answer shows me that, especially if it's like an easy answer, it shows you haven't done the work. And it's like that kind of mindset, and this is why people are like, oh, sometimes you're harsh. And I'm like, it's because you're asking for something that if you can't figure that out on your own, I don't know how the hell you're trading at all. It's almost some of that, like, you have to think of it, like, put yourself in my position as a coach. It's like, man, you see certain repeating patterns of failure, and that one of them is extreme laziness, complacency, and just not doing the work. All right, well, hit me up if you got questions. I'll end the recording. Peace out.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.